last 25 years, and he has also supported in business transformation, and he was associated with many organizational change management. And today he is a recognized voice from the industry, and he works with so many forums and all that. And he was also a elected member for the CIS West Bengal State of Council for the current year. And Mr. Anup is also comes with 26 years of experience, and I think he is also a sustainability practitioner, and he also is an expert in circular economy, or finally you can talk about the net zero concepts, and his suggestive approach for managing your in-house manufacturing and process scrap. So the theme for the program is very well designed by the team, and I must say thank you very much for both the faculties and their team behind the scene. Coming back to the ACMA Center of Excellence, ACMA Center of Excellence support the industries in many areas, from manufacturing excellence to you can say supporting the industry, handholding for improving their quality, productivity, and many other areas called product development and all that. We also run ACMA awards, so those who are interested, they can still join and apply for the awards. ACMA Center of Excellence also conducts the technology summit each year, and this year the summit will be scheduled in the month of March. And for more programs, I think you can be in contact with my team, either Ragini or Rakesh. So with these short words, I want to not to make much delay and hand over the dais to both the expert faculties. So once again, Dipankarji and Anupji, thank you very much for providing this opportunity for many people. And I think this is not the program where we want to close today. So I think after that, people can be in contact and how to take this forward, and ACMA can be a supporting agency between the companies and you. So my all best wishes to you, and thank you very much. Over to Rakesh.
Yeah, thank you very much, DP sir, for being with us and addressing the people. So some of the point I would like to mention before start of the session, because on virtual session we generally have some technical issues, like if anybody having audio and a video problem during the sessions, you please let us know through the chat window. You can write there, so we'll take care of that. And in case if you have any query, so if you want to speak to the speaker, so you please raise your hand. We will unmute you. You can talk to the speaker, and you also can write in the chat window your queries. So objection team will be there. They will keep answering your queries. And after the presentation, there will be a Q&A session we kept. So there we will discuss on the queries only. And at the final of the session, there will be a feedback, which is at most important for us to improve further. So I would request while that will be on screen, so kindly rate your feedback accordingly, sir. So thank you, DP sir. So that was from my side. So I hand over session to Mr. Dipankar sir. May please start.
Thank you, Rakesh. First, a quick check. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are very much audible.
Great. Thank you. So let me start by thanking ACMA for bringing us on this platform and giving us this forum. Big thanks to all of those who have taken time out to join us for this meeting at 3 p.m. today. We really thank you for the interest, and we hope you will find the next 1 hour useful and interesting. We will also we are also looking forward to the interaction to take learnings from this meeting. In terms of what we will speak about, we will try and keep this session to about 35-40 minutes between Anupji and me, in terms of coming up with what is the strategy, which is the right kind of strategy to help win in scrap sales for the auto component business. Before we go there, a quick word about M Junction, but what is the opportunity ahead for us? Next slide, please. And if you have any question in between, we would like to make it interactive. Please feel free to put it on the chat box. We will try and pick up as we go. So there is a massive opportunity, and for all of those who have logged in, I'm sure you are aware and you are tracking the kind of awareness, the kind of focus which is going on around the climate change, around reducing the carbon footprint, about being carbon neutral, and so on. So there is a big push, and therein lies a massive opportunity for all those of us who are connected to the metals, steel, automotive, and recycling of the scrap. There is a massive opportunity ahead of us. There is a saying that diamonds are forever, but if you really see, steel is forever. Steel is a perfectly recyclable, 100% recyclable material. So steel, once produced, is forever. Steel is forever as a product, as a category. So this is what we are going to.
Dipankar sir, we lost you. I think we are not listening, hearing from you.
As I said, a massive focus and push on sustainability, which is going on, lowering of the carbon footprint. The electric arc furnaces and the induction furnaces have the capacity of lowering 60% of the carbon emission compared with the traditional blast furnaces. And we are seeing a shift. We are increasingly seeing the hunger in the market to recycle steel and put it back into production. We are, as a nation, a scrap deficit nation as we speak. Current numbers are the country requires approximately about 30 million year, and it will keep growing. We are aware of the National Steel Policy, which was launched in 2017, which is talking about reaching steel production in the country in the next 8 years. I mean, the policy was announced 2017. We are 2022. We are at 120 million tons, and 2030 is where the forecast is to reach a figure of 300 million tons. So that is where the industry is going to. We will speak more about it as we go along, and we spoke about a massive domestic consumption. So net, we are looking at a future which will be increasingly driven by the green footprint. So all of this will, what we are doing, and most of your core businesses of partners who have logged in here today will be centered around this, is what our assumptions are. Next slide, please. I won't spend too much time here, but just to introduce M Junction as to who we are. We are the country's largest B2B e-commerce firm today. Essentially, we connect businesses. We are a Tata Steel and Steel Authority of India joint venture. It's a 50-50 joint venture. We are in our 22nd year, started off in 2001, pretty much disrupting the sales cycle in how steel was being, secondary products in steel were being sold and also consumed. In terms of gross merchandise value, more than 2 lakh crores was the throughput on our platform last financial year. And this year, we are growing at about 25-30% on that number. We ourselves have about 140 customers, but most importantly, we have 200,000, 2 lakh buyers and suppliers in our ecosystem who are connected on the network. I'll speak about it as we go along. Coal, steel, idle assets are some of the areas where we work on, and we have had a couple of awards, plenty of awards as we have been in this journey. Next, please. Now, as I said, we connect businesses. If your organizations are buying and you are buying from a range of suppliers, be it your core requirements, be it for your non-strategic requirements, strategic requirements, goods, services. We have solutions for all of that for the buy side as an e-commerce firm. We also help you sell through our platform. So essentially, that's what we do as M Junction as a company. Next. Now, very briefly on the buy side, and we'll get on to the scrap side very soon. On the buy side, we have a digital solution end to end, which will connect from the point an indent is raised in your organizations through till connecting with your supply chain partners, with your suppliers on a digital platform, negotiate with them on the digital platform, and then digitally give them the PO, and also do the downstream post PO services all on the platform. So that's what MJ Pro does, and for it can get integrated with your native ERPs, both as we receive the indents and also if you want up to the PO, post PO, and so on. We also help organizations in terms of managed services. A lot of organizations today are looking at optimizing, and while they focus on their core businesses and core platforms. So some of the organizations would want us to help them in their sourcing activities, which we do. And we have a center of excellence ourselves. We have a central shared services where we have our buyers located who buy on our behalf. It could be on our platform, it could be on your platform, but we manage procurement services. And there are certain categories where we help do sourcing for very large items for you, where you may be talking to a very limited number of suppliers, but we can reach a larger supplier base and bring them on through auction strategies to give you the best possible buying point through price discovery through an auction process. And we have more than 25 reverse auction strategies with us. We also have very strong category consultants who can
Dipankar sir, we are losing you, sir, in between. Your voice is not there, sir.
Okay, is it better now? Let me.
Yeah, yes, it is okay now.
Okay, thank you. So maybe you could refresh and we could go on to the next slide. Similarly, we help organizations sell, and we have an ecosystem which I spoke about. I'll walk you through this. So basically, we have an ecosystem which is on the sell side. The heart of the system is auctions, where the core, it is based on the principles of transparency, where a lot of buyers are connected to a range of suppliers who then transact on our platform. So it can be custom designed, it can be integrated with your systems. These are talking. We are talking about the highest range of security. For example, if you have read about the media auction rights for IPL, which was done earlier this year in April, May, June, we worked with the Board of Control, and finally in June they did the auction.
Sir, again some voice issue. It is not coming.
The BCCI authorities on what kind of auction strategy they should have to get the maximum value for their assets. So this is the kind of work which we do. Basically, very strong on the system side. Our systems are built to scale. At any given point on any given day, we are handling anywhere between 50 to 60 auctions on our platform. So if required, they can scale up multiple times. We are in the business of transparency, and the functionality is very rich. built up over the last 20, 21 years. As I said, category knowledge is one of our strengths apart from our systems. And the biggest strength is that we have a very strong pan-India network, which is now extended globally. Next. So with that, I would invite my senior colleague Anup ji to deep dive into specifically the auto component industry and how the scrap generation happens and how do we maximize and help our partners get maximum value. Over to you, Anup ji.
Thank you, Deepankar. Hope I am audible.
Yes, to me.
Yeah, thank you. Scrap generation, as all of you are from the auto component industry, you know very well the auto scrap which is generated in the auto industry is basically 3 or 4 types of scrap. The stamping scrap, what we call it, or the punching scrap, turning, boring, cutting fluid waste, hazardous waste. These are the generally kinds of scrap. There may be a few others which I have not listed it down, but these are the major 3 or 4 kind of scrap that is generally generated. And some of the photographs in the below of the slide, the bottom portion of the slide shows the kind of scrap which you have got: the stamping scrap, the tikia, or what we call it, the middle one, and the turning and boring as the last one. Apart from that, you will have the hazardous waste, the cutting fluid, some of the battery wastes also that are also coming up at some points of time. But these are generally the kind of scrap that
Hello.
Am I audible now?
Now you are audible, sir. We missed you, I think, for some of the seconds.
Okay, as I was saying that we have got basically 4 or 5 kinds of scrap which is generated: the stamping, the punching scrap, turning, boring, cutting fluid, hazardous waste. These are the 4 or 5 kinds of scrap that is generally generated in auto component industry. Whatever components you make, these are the types of scrap that you will be generally having. And some of them will be regular in nature, some of them will be irregular in nature, depending on the kind of product that you are making. Can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so here we will basically try to concentrate on what are the potential bottlenecks that you might be facing while during your manufacturing process and the selling of the manufacturing scrap. Now, as I said in the earlier slide, there are multiple categories of scrap that you generate. Approximately, it has been a rough approximation, approximately 4% of the steel that you purchase for converting into your parts or the original equipment manufacturer, what are the parts you generate, approximately 4% to 5% comes out as scrap from the steel. And from the other products, it could be slightly more higher. Go ahead. Why I'm concentrating on steel? Because steel occupies the major value-wise. Steel is one of the major values that you generate as a scrap in your basically manufacturing process. Then how do I generate the right price? Finding the right price for selling the material is one of the biggest problems that any of the auto component manufacturers face. Primary reasons being these products are basically of inconsistent product quality. The quality of the product are not consistent. The size and the shape of the material are very irregular. Second, these materials are basically a replacement market. These are not easily substitutable, so you don't know really the prices. And steel, inherently steel or the steel prices or the steel substitute materials, they are highly volatile in nature. The prices of those materials are very highly volatile in nature. So it is very difficult to estimate the correct selling price of the particular material at a particular given point of time. Third point will be basically on the buyer base, and the buyers in your vicinity, wherever you have your plant, whether it be in, just to take the examples, whether it be in Gurgaon or Manesar or maybe Pune or elsewhere, you'll be always having a large amount of buyers who will be there, but those guys are very fragmented. Maybe you'll have one or two large buyers, but most of the buyers are small, and their bookkeeping is not very proper. I would rather put it that way. So the buyer base is basically large and fragmented. And the last but not the least is the products. Obviously, you can't establish the quality of the product. So product is basically sold on an as is where is basis. I mean, there's no consistent quality of the product. So it is very difficult. So each stakeholder, each of the buyers, they view the product as per their own wish. There is no fixed baseline for the product. What is the quality of the product that it should be there? So accordingly, they pick the prices. Just to give you an example, I mean, some of the products where some end use can be made of it will command a higher price, or if it is going for a simple melting, then obviously the prices will be slightly more lower. Then last bottleneck, which we see from an outside point of view, is basically accumulated scrap occupies a lot of shop floor space. This is one of the biggest pain points. So your accumulated scrap has to be evacuated as soon as possible, because if your scrap occupies the space, then it is likely to hamper your production also. Last, the scrap generated has got a sizable amount of capital which is locked in. So you need to unlock those capital so that it can improve your cash flows. So these are the basically three broad categories of the potential bottlenecks that you face in selling of the manufacturing scrap. So industry by and large have been selling these products, have been selling this scrap through the offline process. Then why do we recommend it to go online? Why do we are recommending to go for the e-selling process? Basically, they falls under the four broad categories. You want the selling process as and when, as we just now heard from Deepankar, the industry is expanding, the steel industry is expanding, the automobile industry is expanding. So gradually you will be handling much higher volumes of the material, much higher volumes of the parts that were being manufactured. Each of you, I'm sure, in last 4 or 5 years have grown to a very large extent. So the scrap also generated also will be quite large. Now you want the selling process to be as transparent as possible so that you don't have to devote much time. And it is always above the board. I mean, nobody can raise a finger against what the prices are not as per the market or something of that sort. Then the second point obviously will be that you want the scrap to be evacuated as fast as possible so that the inventory which is lying on the ground, that is converted to cash. Some of you might be selling the material on an arising basis, but the things can be improved there also with the e-selling process. And obviously, selling scrap is not your core business, so digitization of the scrap selling process is a key requirement, because the manual process that we used to execute now, that seems to be outdated, and especially the COVID times has shown us we need to digitize some of our processes, and scrap selling process is certainly a process which can be digitized much more easily. The steel industry had started this process around 20 years back. I don't see any reason why the auto component industry cannot do it for the scrap which is generated at their end. Last but not the least, you want to have the best possible price of your products. And gradually, I mean, all of you will agree that, as Deepankar said regarding the BCCI auction that we did for the Cricket Board of India. So you require the best possible prices. The Cricket Board and the BCCI would not have been able to get the prices what they were looking for if it was not been done through the auction process. Similarly, for your scrap, if you want to generate the best possible price, I think e-auction is one of the best methodologies that you can look forward. Many of you might be also aware the government of India also has been promoting e-auction for various things like minerals, mines, and various other activities also. And last but not not the least, also I would also like to say that the job of the auto component industry is basically to produce the auto components and to generate as less amount of scrap. So maybe you can leave the scrap selling and you can allocate your basically the resources that you have from this activity to your core activities, which is basically to generate the auto components and to ensure that the scraps are as less as possible. But whatever scraps is generated, that you can easily switch over to the online selling process. So what is our approach for selling of the process scrap? So we start with the process called the study. We basically study what is the scrap generated at each of the OEMs, each of the auto component industry. For example, each of the industries, each of the plants will have a separate scrap which can be generated. Now, we basically study the scrap, what is generated, what would be the best possible use of the material. Now, if that material can be sold through an end use, whereby some product can be made from the scrap directly. Now, we try to basically, during our study phase, during the study phase, we do the material inspection, and from that, we try to generate the end use of the product, and we try to find out the buyers for them.
Hello.
We need to frame a catalog. Am I audible? If somebody can confirm me.
Yes, sir. You are now audible, but we missed you for a second. Now it is okay. Please, sir.
Okay. Now, obviously, being an e-auction company, now we need to reach out to the maximum possible buyers so that they could be interested for the kind of material which is generated at this OEM. Now, we frame a catalog. A catalog is basically a terms and condition which contains all the terms and conditions which the buyers will have to adhere to if they were to participate in the auction. It will contain the payment terms, it will contain the lifting terms, it will contain the scrap details and all taxation and everything. It will be all obviously framed in consultation with the seller so that each of the parties, so that catalog becomes the Bible for the buyer. I mean, for any issues, this one later on, catalog will stand firm. Now, based on the catalog, we will communicate to all the buyers. The buyers will be registered on our platform. Now, each of the buyer, this is very important, each of the buyer will have to submit an earnest money deposit with us so that he can participate in the auction. Without an earnest money deposit, no buyer can participate in auction. So each of the bids that the buyers give on our platform is backed by an EMD, what we call it, the earnest money deposit. Then obviously we take care of the training of the buyers. The buyers are trained on the auction platform, how to bid. If it's a new buyer, if it's a regular buyer, then obviously is trained. But we provide the training to the buyer. Then we conduct the auction on the scheduled date, and after the auction, the reports are submitted to the seller for their approvals for the material that has been auctioned. Then last, but we don't close our operations by just giving you the auction report. We will also help you get the payment from the buyers and ensure that the lifting occurs, because we understand the lifting in an auto component industry is one of the most important things. So the material evacuation is one of the most important things. So we also ensure that. So we provide an end-to-end cycle. We provide the end-to-end support for the entire operations for your selling of your process scrap, whatever scrap is generated at your plants. Now, what are the building blocks? As I explained in broadly, what has been our process. Now, the first point is obviously the market making, the market outreach, what we call it. We, as I explained some time back, the catalog, we prepared a catalog for the sales. The catalog, our people will inspect your plant, inspect your material, go to your plant, inspect the materials. They will do the lotting of the material. The material has to be sold in which manner, and the sales strategy. Obviously, all these things will be done in consultation with you, and this is mostly an one-time activity or a two-time activity, or twice in a month or thrice in a month maximum. Then we will publicize the catalog among the entire buyer base. We have got more than 5,000 buyers pan India. name any part of the country. We have got the buyers for the kind of material which are generated. So we will publicize the entire material, whatever is generated at a plant, to all our buyers. And basically from there, we will try to get the buyers who can give you the highest prices. Obviously, best prices and evacuation is one of the key requirements for the industry, so that we will basically, keeping these two factors in mind, we will try to get the best buyers possible. Then we have got a buyer onboarding process. Obviously, we have got a buyer registration, KYC, categorization of the buyers, login credentials, training, all those things will be taken care of it. So you don't need to get involved in the entire selling process at any point of time. This is completely done online, and it is entirely the responsibility of the executives of M Junction who will be handling the account. Then pre-sales activity, as I told you some time back, each of the bids that is coming to our platform is backed by an earnest money deposit. And this is basically taken to secure the bids that are coming from the buyers. Now, what happens if the buyers back out after doing an auction? That at least the earnest money deposit is submitted to the seller. So that is the process. So we call it an online EMD management process, online, where the buyers will have complete visibility. This is also, I mean, there's no manual intervention here. This is all entirely automated. So the buyers and everyone, I mean, it is just to make the life of the buyers also a lot more easier. Then the material inspection, the auction setup, strategy, everything happens as part of the pre-sales activity. Basically on the scheduled date and the time the auction happens, monitoring the report, and ultimately when the auction report is generated, the auction report is submitted to the seller, and after that the price approval happens by the seller. I mean, it is entirely dependent on the seller to fix up the RP on our platform, basically the selling price, and for that we will also give them a market report, and then obviously the price approval happens on the platform itself. Then post-sales, as I explained some time back, our activities just do not end by basically conducting the auction. The post-sales activity, the complete support is provided by us, whether it be the intimation to the buyers, ensuring that the buyers make the payment directly to you. Then we give, if the sales order is routed through
Anup sir, you are not
Hello?
audible sometimes, sir.
Is it
Now
better
it
now?
it is okay. Now.
Okay, I need to speak a bit louder. Okay. So last but not the least is basically the manifest form. So some of the hazardous waste material or the oil material or some of the materials which require the MOF certification. So we also take care of that. So the buyer submitted, because that's as per the statutory norms. So all these requirements are being taken care of. So what we want to prove here is basically the entire activity for your scrap or the material which comes out of your plant, basically the scrap or the hazardous waste or any kind of material, those are basically sold through us, and we take the entire responsibility, the end-to-end responsibility for all the activities that is required. So you don't need to spend time, energy, or basically money on this. The resources are not required by you, but this activity entirely will be taken care by us or our team who will be serving you. Thanks. So we basically employ a digital model, what we call it. I mean, digital model is basically why we don't believe in more of a physical model. Physical model is not really scalable, but digital models are very easily scalable. And one of the, I will say, benefit or the advantage that we got of COVID, it taught us how fast digital models can be adopted. Now, there will be an external model, there will be an external users who will be basically the service provider, MJ, vendors, plant, functional units. The client users will be basically the plant. I mean, we can map the plant level people, the functional units, the head office, the administrator, any of people can be mapped. They will be basically the external users to the platform. Then we have got a system whereby we directly map with your ERP. Now, if you have got an SAP, we can map with your SAP, or if you have got any other ERP that you are using, then we can map it to any of the ERPs, and it will be, there'll be an integration tool that will be between. So the systems will just, our system will just talk to your system and get the data, whatever is required from you. Now, depending on the requirement, this is customizable. We can pull the scrap details from the designated area of your ERP system. We can prepare the note sheets if it is required, and automated note sheets can be prepared. The approval workflows can be mapped to n number of people, any number of people, it can be mapped. Now the digital catalogs, I mean, from there we will get the digital catalogs. The catalog management will be done. The post auction, what we told, basically the follow-up for the payment lifting and everything can be done on the platform itself. Now this will be talking in sync with our auction engine, the reports. The auction engine is basically the live bidding page for the bidders. During the auction, we will be also giving the client, the sellers on our platform, we will be giving them the user IDs, the observer IDs, whereby they can view what is the auction going on, the live auction, how the auction is faring. Now, at the end of the auction, we will have a dynamic dashboard whereby the reports will be generated. Now, these reports can be customized to suit your ERP. Now, we can directly send it to your ERP system, or we can also provide in the Excel sheet, which can be simply uploaded in your ERP system also. Then there are mobile apps which can give the details of the catalog and also the bidding page also. So M-Junction has been, as I told you, M-Junction has been selling steel scrap for last 20 years for many of the steel companies. Tata Steel, Steel Authority were our promoters, and we have been selling for them for last 20 years, for more than 20 years. For automobile scrap industry, for the automobile component manufacturer, the scraps, we have sold close to 4 lakh tons till date. We started this business around 4 or 5 years back, and we have got some of the market names that you can think of in the industry. We are already working with them. So we have sold close to 4 lakh tons till date, and FY22 alone, last year, FY22, we have sold around 1.2 lakh tons of material. This 4 lakh tons, I mean, over the last 4 or 5 years, we have been able to give to the industry nearly 1,200 crores out of revenue. The revenue is not important. See, what we have been able to do basically is that we have been able to give the industry a realization which was much higher than what they used to get when they were selling this material offline or through some other channels. Because what happens during the channels, when you're using when you sell offline, you have only 1 or 2 buyers whom you basically rely on. But M-Junction has got more than 200 unique buyers for this auto component scrap. Basically, we have got more than 200 buyers, and more than 200 buyers participated in the auction in FY22 alone. And these buyers are located all over the country. So if you have got units in any part of the country, we will be there to service you, whether it be south, north, west, east, any place of the country. We have got the buyers who can basically participate in your auction and basically bid for the material that are being offered. Now, we have sold categories, all the categories: HRCR scrap, which is basically generated for the steel scrap, the process scrap, hazardous plant waste, idle and obsolete assets. Then in terms of services, we provide the market intelligence report, which will be helping you to basically fix up the prices of the material. We will do a material inspection of the report, which will give you whether the material has got end use. The entire sales digitization process will be done by us. And we don't charge anything for the digitization process separately. But however, we'll have to look at it before we initiate the steps. Then our auction engine is a very agile and scalable auction engine. You can scale up to the any number of times. It should not be an issue. And last but not the least, which I understand is one of the key requirements, is that we also help you to evacuate the materials as fast as possible. Next, please. So with this, I would like to end my presentation. I understand there are a few queries, then as of now, let me take it. Or one of the questions from Mr. Vinayak is that, does your platform also provide services only for steel scrap or also for the plastic scrap? Yeah, we do also provide the services for the plastic scrap also. So we have got teams for that. We have got separate teams for handling steel scrap, and we have got separate teams for handling plastic scrap and the other kinds of scrap also. So yeah, we do provide the services for them also. I hope that answers your question, Vinayak ji. Yeah, we provide the services all over the country. We have got buyers based out of south, north, west, already east also. We are already based out of west. So obviously east is one of our strongest points. But we have provide the services. I mean, name the any auto component cluster, we are there. Our buyer network for the non-ferrous industry is quite large, and we basically service for the aluminum, copper, all kinds of scrap that we generate, that are generated at the steel companies. We provide the services for them. How do you categorize? Is there a difference between general steel and tool steel? Yeah, obviously general steel and tool steel are different categories. So that will be reflected in the kind of prices that you are getting. So as I told you, we have got a market intelligence wing. The market intelligence wing will visit your plant, see the kind of scrap that you generate, and based on the scrap, they will give you an idea about what is the end use of the product and how it can be sold better from the present systems that you have, and also what kind of price expectations you can have for these materials. So there is a difference between the HRCR steel, what we call a general steel that you call it, or the tool steels that you call it generally. Presently, we are having 100% advance payment from the scrap before invoicing. Yeah, this will be taken care by our system also. How?
Anup sir, I think we should unshare the presentation so there will be more clarity on the queries and the question raised by.
Yeah, exactly. We will this way share the presentation. So Soham will do it for you.
Yeah. No, I'm asking to unshare the presentation now.
Okay, you want us to unshare?
Yeah.
So while you are doing that, Anupji, Dipankar here, yes, there is a question on wooden scrap. Yes, we do on our platforms, we do wooden scrap also.
Yeah, so we do wooden scrap. So cutting fluid waste. So what we do, we are doing cutting fluid waste not only for the auto component industry, but we are doing it for the other companies also who have got tool rooms. So cutting fluid is generally generated at the places which have the companies which have got tool rooms. So we have got a process to it, and we adhere to, let me be very clear on the e-waste or the cutting fluid or any of the material which are hazardous in nature. We follow the guidelines which are provided by the MOEF. I mean, for all these cases, we follow the guidelines so that after the auction, we should not have any issues. The buyers who are not having the MOEF certification, they are allowed to participate. No, we don't allow them to participate. Any buyers whose MOEF certification is exhausted, has expired, we don't allow them to participate. What is the contract period? Contract period can be fixed based on the material that is generated. It can be for a month, it can be for 15 days, it can be from lot to lot also. That is flexible, but we need to see your material, and after that we need to decide how we need to do it. Yeah, as I explained, we do all kind of non-ferrous scrap also, including brass. Now, in case of scrap dealer backs out before his term period, what are the actions taken by us? Then we fix up the
We are unable to hear you, sir. It is totally lost sound.
Am I audible now?
I think
Now it is
yes,
audible.
Anupji, you are back. I think we probably are having a network issue at times
Yeah.
and are getting maybe the network has faded, but now
Okay. Now, what we told, in case of scrap dealer backing out before his term period, then we need to fix up the EMD very appropriately. Now, EMD is one of the key issues when we deal with the automotive scrap, because I understand that none of the auto component companies can afford a backout because the space is very limited and the scrap generation is continuous. So we have got certain tools that we use to ensure that the scrap dealer does not back out so easily. In the last 4 or 5 years that we have been working, I mean, we have been doing auctions on a monthly basis. I mean, more than 4 lakh tons of materials has been sold on our platform, as I told some time back. I mean, I will say the fulfillment rate was as high as 98 to 99%. Yeah, we have got buyers for the used tire scrap also. So depending on the location, we can certainly activate. So what I would like to mention here is for steel scrap, we have got a separate teams for each of the scrap that is generated at the auto component. We have got different teams to handle it, and they basically specialize in the product. Was I audible?
Yes,
Somebody
sir.
can
You are
confirm.
audible. You are audible, sir. One person raised hand, Mr. TJ. So shall I unmute him?
Yeah, please.
I think he's unable to unmute himself. So Mr. TJ, you can unmute and speak. We allowed you to unmute. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
we
I can hear you loud and clear.
Sir, we have some old machinery which cannot be sold out as scrap, but it can be reconditioned, sold out. How you are handling this machinery?
Okay, so as I explained, we have got a team who basically specializes in handling the used machineries. So what I mean, the process that we follow, our team will come down to your place, inspect the material, and based on the material that after that they will do a valuation of the material and will explain you the entire selling process. And now after that, if everything is acceptable, then we will initiate the process, because we have been selling the used machinery for quite some time. I mean, as I told you, we have been in this business for more than 20 years, but we have been selling this kind of materials for quite some time now. So the process that we follow, our team will be visiting you, inspect the material, and after that give you a valuation report also. And after that, we will initiate the process to sell your materials. I hope I have been able to answer your query.
Yes, sir. I hope you are dealing in the same way the spares also, no? Because we have some robotic spares which is costly, but we have not used.
Right, sir. What we will do, I will ask the concerned teams to get in touch with you so that they can take up the issue forward, because we have got an e-marketplace for selling of spares. Okay, especially for spares, it is called MJ Value Mart. We have got an e-marketplace whereby we sell the spares which is basically used or the unused spares that are available with any of our sellers. Dipankar, if you would like to see for some highlight point.
yes. So thank you for the question. We do have a marketplace model which is not auction driven or only, where if you have unused spares which you are not consuming and you would not like to treat them as as uh, s- as something you would like to auction out, then you can put it up as a catalog And we have buyers who are regularly coming to this platform. If they find it this of interest, it will be listed, and they can buy it from the platform, which is called MJ Value Mart. So maybe after this event is over, we can get in touch, and we'll put you in connect with the right people.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Yeah, we have got a question in the chat box. How earnest money is fixed? It's based on the expected sales or any other base? There is a complete process to it. I mean, earnest money is fixed not only based on the expected sales or the expected volume. We also do a market intelligence, how the market is expected to behave in the next 1 month. Suppose the period of contract for the sale is around a month, then how the market is expected to behave for the next 1 month. And based on that, we fixed up the earnest money deposit. It is not only based on the current selling price of the material. So that the idea is basically to reduce the buyer backouts and also ensure that the sale is secured. In some areas, the scrap dealers do not allow external agencies to enter. How do you handle in case of an e-auction? I don't think so. It's MC. We have worked in some of the, M Junction has been, as I told you, we have sold around 4 lakhs of tons, and we have worked in areas like Manesar, Dharuvera. We have worked in areas like Haridwar, Pune, Chakan, you name it, we are there. So we have not.
So I think I'm not sure whether Anupji
Yeah, he's not
audible.
He's not audible,
Yeah.
sir.
So let me complete the answer on behalf of Anupji. Yes, very valid question. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. You can.
So in many cases, this.
So we have got a team for it who is basically handling the process.
Thanks, Anupji. So we have a lot of
yeah, we need contacts. The plastic scrap I told you about it, that we are obviously dealing with.
Anup sir, we are losing you in between. So Dipankar sir answering the question of Mr. Jai Vijay.
Yeah, Dipankar, please go on.
No, so Anupji, let me complete this. I think what I was saying is that, yes, this is the value which we bring to buyers, that when we engage with the seller, there are certain things which we try and bring to the board. And one of them is that the catalog which we put up is what the actual material which the seller has. And like Anupji said, we do manage to get the inspections done.
Yeah, Mr. Kannan says that we need contact person in Chennai. We will surely give it to you, sir. No issues at all. We'll get in touch with you after this meeting, and we'll share with you the person's name in Chennai.
So if anybody having any question can write in the chat window or raise your hand, we will unmute and can allow to speak with the speaker. Mr. Rakesh Gupta wanting to ask something, sir. Oh
yeah, please.
So Rakesh, can you please raise your hand again? By mistaken, I lower the hand, sir. Yeah, thank you. So you are allowed to unmute.
I'm Rakesh Gupta from Suryan Automotive. Sir, we have 10 plants located in 6 states basically, and the rates of the scrap and contracts All are finalized at our corporate at one location
Okay.
only.